Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, are two superheroes with the power to kill a yak from 200 yards away with mind bullets. It's Chris Brodell.
Wonder Boy.
And Shane Beauregard.
What up? I just want to let you guys know off the bat, I saved you guys because I was going to do my shitty Sly impression.
Ooh.
But I've already turned two people off the Rocky franchise because I did that Nothing Hits as Hard as Life speech.
Oh, my God.
Ad nauseum. So
What
I saved it.
On the old podcast or just in life?
Just in life. I went through a phase for like a month and a half where I would repeat that speech on a daily basis in my worst Rocky impression.
Yeah,
This was last month.
Yes.
Well, that was the thing. Like, between Sly and Arnie, it's all like everybody has their impression of it, and we're all probably not good at it, but it's so fun to do it.
It is.
It is.
So,
Very
because
satisfying.
even when you said it, my immediate reaction was, just make the guttural noises. It doesn't matter what you say, whether you know the speeches or not. Just go,
Yeah.
It's great.
Right.
Because everybody feels like just act like your punch drunk uncle, and there you go, you nailed it, right?
Hey,
Right.
your aunt, she gave you $5 in the card, so, thank her. What? Sorry, that's wrong
Perfect.
uncle. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a pretty caring uncle.
Yeah.
That's what you're here for, right? That's what our audience is here for
Yep.
advice on familiar relations through Sylvester Stallone. So you're welcome for that. But if you're interested in the rest of the episode, what we're doing today, later on in the episode, we're going to kind of give you a 3-pack of reviews on some of the latest titles in streaming all across apps. So be sure to stick around for that. But up top, as you've probably already imagined, we are going to talk about the latest Sylvester Stallone movie, Samaritan, directed by Julius Avery, who did Overlord, which if you want other content of me speaking, I was on the Review It Yourself podcast over there in the UK, where I did Overlord, where I was championing it, which I know these two gentlemen, I think, would do the same.
Yep.
And I was on an island. So if you want to hear me just struggling to defend Overlord for 45 minutes, be sure to check that review out. But we will do that, and we'll kind of do a contrast to compare with a very tough genre of not a lot of movies, the non-comic book superhero movie. So we'll get into all that right now as we start our recent activity. All right, we've stepped into the wheelhouse of Shane Beauregard right now. We are in Sly Stallone zone, where, I would say, I can't speak for Chris, but I will say Sylvester Stallone has always been a constant presence in my life. But as the youngest person of the three of us, being born in 1982, a lot of Sylvester Stallone's greatest hits were like over and done before I was like in middle school. So, it's tough to have a full relationship. Plus there was like are you an Arnie guy or are you a Sly guy, or people both? They're always like trying to fight for the spotlight during the 80s and 90s. And to be honest, I was more of an Arnie guy, because I will watch T2 all day, versus like maybe, I could watch First Blood all day. I have certain favorites of mine, but that argument, I always kind of lean Arnie because I felt like he was more in on the joke. He was a little less self-serious, which I know, again, is stupid when you think about stuff like Oscar or Throw Mama from the Train or whatever. So, but we'll get into all that. But Sly is back. He is on Amazon Prime doing Samaritan, the latest kind of, like we were talking about, a non-comic book superhero movie about a young boy that learns that a superhero who is thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may in fact still be around. And Stallone is in this movie. Javon Walton is the young boy that they mention here. He of Euphoria, if you've seen him. He plays Sam Cleary in here. And this is Julius Avery, as we noted up top. Overlord, I thought, was an incredible film. I liked that movie a lot. This is his first movie since then. So not a giant resume to speak of, but I was anticipating this movie based on that, and he brought aboard his boy, Palau Asbak, who was in Overlord as kind of the villain asshole in that movie, and bring him to be also a jerk in this movie as Cyrus, the villain here. He was also Euron Greyjoy for any of those Game of Thrones fans. The early reviews on this are not incredibly kind, and I don't know where we all stand yet, so that'll be an interesting conversation to see if it reflects the same. But for those who care, it is a 37 Rotten Tomatoes score with a 78 Rotten Tomato audience score. That is higher than I thought it'd be, even for the audience. But I guess if you're a Sly guy, you're a Sly guy. You know, you'll go for anything. 46 Metascore, 5.9 IMDb, and a 2.5 on Letterboxd. So pretty middling grade there as well. But like I said, right up top, this is the Shane zone. So I'm going to clear the lane and let him just cook here and talk. Lead us in here, Shane. Where's your relationship with Sly these days? Where's it always been? Are you just always got, as Bill Simmons calls it, season tickets every movie you're watching?
I've always got season tickets. And it's like you said, growing up, I am more of an Arnie guy. I will just put that out there.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a favorite franchise from the two, it's Rocky. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Arnie doesn't, like, he has T2 and he has, but he does not have anything like Rocky. I'm sorry. So, like, Sly, he's my guy. And I love every Rambo movie except for the last one, Home Alone. Did not care for that.
Yeah.
The only movies I don't like that Sly was in is he does not do comedy very well. Like Oscar and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot just.
I'm an asshole. Why did nobody tell me I was
you were on a roll.
Throw Mama from the train? I know.
You're on a roll. You're on a roll.
Can't stop the train.
But like Tango and Cash, Cobra, like outside of the Rocky and Rambo franchises, Tango and Cash is probably one of my favorite buddy cop or whatever buddy action movies.
Yeah.
So when this movie came out, I had the bar set to like mid-level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do like the Expendables. I'm sorry, Chris, but like I do like the nostalgia of having those guys together. I make no apologies for it.
Sure.
So I was semi-excited about this movie, and I think I told you guys off the mics that this felt like a movie that was stuck in the 90s, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like Demolition Man is a better example of like a 90s movie that he did that works.
Sure.
And I think he was the least of the problems with this movie. Like Sly's performance was actually okay. I thought it was okay. Like it was passable. I did not like the kid who plays Sam, Javon Walton, which is his middle name. I mean, he was terrible. I do like Cyrus because I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and Euron Greyjoy was a great villain in that series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But just the whole setup of this movie just did not do it for me. Like Granite City, which if I lived in this city, I might relocate to Bridgeport. That's how bad this city looked. There was like no redeemable anything about this city. I did like, as we get into this movie, I saw the twist kind of coming, and I didn't mind it. I actually preferred the way this movie ended. But man, to me, it was a missed opportunity because, like you, I loved Overlord. Like I champion that movie as much as you do. It's a great hidden gem of a movie.
Yeah.
When it came out, I was expecting a little bit more. Some of the action scenes in this movie are fine, but the whole setup and story and the villain is so one note. It just, as they get into it, it's like he's just a guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The whole Cyrus character is just a guy. I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, he just tore. There was one scene at the end where Sly cleared the building of 100 people. And he's like, you're just an old man. What are you going to, he just killed 100 people, dude. What are you talking about? Like, the dialogue wasn't there for me. This movie let me down quite a bit. And again, I didn't have high expectations because it was on Amazon Prime. I just figured it'd be a passable throwback 90s movie, and it just missed its mark. Everyone but Sly, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough when Sly is 76 years old. And even for the conceit here of being like, oh, he's been gone for 20 years. Yeah, sure. That deep fake made him look like he was like 35, not 55. And Jesus. Although I got to shout out steroids. My God. Like he he still looks pretty damn good and youthful. I guess it'd be HGH maybe these days, to be fair to him. Something to where whatever the current
HGH.
incarnation of keeping Sly alive and kicking, literally, the fact that he looks that youthful makes me. I just should start taking drugs. Is what I'm saying. I should probably
That's the
start
moral of
right
this
now.
movie.
Yes, exactly.
Take HGH and take a lot of it.
Yeah, you want to take anything away, any lessons? Because it's not any of the lessons he gave that kid I'm taking away. I barely remember them. Because I will say, yeah, man, the dialogue in here is brutal. They don't give him a lot of, like, even just simple mantras to say. Like, it's more just, no, I'm not who you think I am, and don't run away, sucker punch people, whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, it wasn't very fatherly. It wasn't very, like this. What is it? The Samurai Cub thing that we've seen a million times. It's not even Mandalorian-esque or whatever. We're just seeing an old man who's hung around too long. Just trying to. Occasionally dial it up for our benefit, because the best part is when Sly goes barreling through walls and goes ham on a gang in an old factory building. I mean, other than that, it's pretty weak. It's a very basic script. It tries to overcomplicate itself by doing a switch and a twist at the end, and the action's okay and weirdly believable considering Sly's age, but I think I said this to you guys off the myth building, like the opening thing about the brothers. I thought that would have made for a better movie, but of course you're not getting Sylvester Stallone if you're making that movie. But maybe go make that movie now. But of course this movie is not doing that concept. If they're like, oh, we'll make the prequel now, don't do that. Don't do that now. We're all done. We're not coming back. Sorry. Or at least maybe me and Shane aren't. What do you think, Chris? Where did you land on this one?
I saw the trailer and I was like, ooh, yeah, that looks like it's perfect for streaming. Like,
yeah,
you're questioning, you're like, Stallone, theater, right? And it's like, no, I understand.
Although, when was the last time he was in a theater? The last Expendables, I would assume?
Yeah.
Creed.
I believe no.
Creed.
Creed.
Yeah, Creed.
All right, Creed 2. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
The last Stallone movie in the theater, I believe, was the shitty Rambo movie, the Home Alone Rambo.
Oh, was
movie.
it? Okay.
That was like a couple years ago.
That could be.
Yeah, that was like three or 4 years ago.
Yeah, probably about 4, yeah.
But again,
it's sad, though. I even bought in on the one he did in Burma.
I fucking love that one.
I like that one. Hey, I was like, I can't believe I like this
that
movie.
One, dude.
Yeah. It's not great, but I liked it. I enjoyed it.
No, but it came out of left field, and when he grabbed that 50 cal at the end, it just fucking mowed everyone down.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's actually a better version. It's almost the better version of this story. He laid low. He didn't want anything to do. He's been in hiding, and then you awoke the beast, and then he fucking kills everyone.
Because that is a great parallel. That is a great parallel.
Listen, he's fine in starring roles. He's fine in guest appearances, pop in, say a line or two, get out, whatever. But yeah, as soon as Shane said that about it being like, have that 90s feel, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
I think you just left it open-ended when you said that. You're just like, oh, it feels like a 90s film. I'm like, okay, all right, that can't be too bad.
But I liked a lot of 90s films. I grew up in that era.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are a varied variety. And I think I said to you guys off air, it felt like if Last Action Hero didn't have any fun or charm. Like,
right.
it has the little kid, it has the older action star, and trying to, like, get away from the bad guys or try to make things work and teach a few lessons or whatever. But it's like the Lucas of lukewarm versions of Last Action Hero. And a lot of people even said it's closer to like Judge Dredd than even like some of the other terrible ones. But a lot of people I know would clearly pick Judge Dredd over this. I definitely there's no good comparison because this movie's not good.
I definitely
so that's
felt
the hard part.
The whole Last Action Hero aspect of it but in Last Action Hero, we understand that it's a kid in a movie trying to point out that everyone's in the movie and no one believes
fantasy.
And
you're in on the joke as the audience in
Right.
that movie too, because you're going into this action fantasy land. And it's heightened reality, and then going back and forth between that reality and the real one. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more inventive. I hate to even say the word, but I was just like, what other movie where it's like a younger guy with like a super built, like superhero-ish older guy? Like, is there another one
Steel
that you could think of? Sort of.
No, I know.
I guess.
But with this one, it was just like the kid suspects that his neighbor is this Samaritan that's been gone for how many years. And
Right.
it's almost that level of, it is you. And nothing proves that
Yeah.
it is. But he keeps on trying to point it out. He keeps on tailing him. He keeps on trying to prove that he's right. And then, lo and behold, something happens where it's like, you are him. Great.
Right.
Teach me how to be brave. Teach me this. It's like, really?
Right.
You could have learned that from any stranger. Why do you have to go to this guy specifically? It's
and
like,
I understand it's the push-pull between
Yeah.
him and Cyrus and trying to, show shades of whatever his origin story was. But I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling it in the fights. I wasn't feeling it in the dialogue. It was just an obvious thing they were trying.
They didn't set it up right. It's like you said earlier, Andrew. It's like Sly was supposed to be like his father figure, since Sam didn't have a father.
Right.
They tried to play into that, but they just did not set it up. And like you said, Sly he gave two shits, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the lesson on the roof, that wasn't even a lesson. It's like you said, it's like he took him up there and nothing happened. In the whole Cyrus, like you said, the push-pull of Cyrus's character too, I actually like him as an actor, like I said, and I thought they could have done more with that character, but they turned him into a one-note, bad dialogue villain, and it was just utterly ridiculous. I just, and the whole hammer that was forged from fury and rage, I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah. Right. Because they needed to do this whole kind of twist ending thing, they lost all the opportunity to have moments where Sly is kind of looking back more and kind of trying to sort through his own feelings and why he's in hiding and do all that. They could have told that in a less linear fashion once they got to the present. They did like one flashback, and even then it was to more throw us off than it was to like prove something or illuminate something. So I think they could have done more if they just didn't play, an hour and 20-minute gambit of hiding the football, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Cyrus was doing his best Fagin from Oliver Twist. It was like he has his minions go out and do his dirty work, but he has this plan that really wasn't cohesive.
Right.
To get this hammer, to bring back the Nemesis.
Yeah.
Right? The Nemesis.
Yeah.
Nemesis.
Yeah.
It was Nemesis.
Nemesis? I'm doing Mystery Men now.
Nemesis.
Yeah.
Nemesis.
And it just, none of it made sense. And even when they finally clash, you're like, okay, is this over yet? Like, that's how I felt.
Oh, yeah. And everybody's dying in that fire, by the way. Everyone's dead.
Oh, yeah.
There's that kid is dead. Smoke inhalation. No chance.
Yep.
Burn to a crisp. Just, and if
anything you touch,
Sly
you're burnt.
Yeah. And if Sly gets, has to have ice cream when he lives in, the gray Granite City and to cool himself down, then being in a burning building for, what's felt like an hour, you're probably not living. That's all I'm saying. And I know a lot of people online put that out there. People even put that in the trivia facts for IMDb, like, this is bullshit, right? Like, you have a bad movie when people are trying to sneak it into the IMDb trivia facts. Yeah. Like, hey, this movie sucks, and here's why. Yeah. So that's a slick move there to the people of IMDb. Quality job there, fellas. Yeah. But I figure let's put the grades out there because obviously we're not that impressed. But I figure the conversation we can then kind of turn it to being in this subgenre that we were kind of talking about of these like non-comic book superhero movies that a lot of them we really like, and then there's ones where you're just like, God, but they don't make a lot of them, and these bad ones are probably the reasons why. Shane, I'll start with you. Where'd you land on a grade, buddy?
I was going back and forth with this one because it hurts my heart. I just want you to know that
I
I'm putting
know.
this grade on Sly. Like, it hurts my heart. I gave it a 2. I gave it a
Yep.
2 out of 5. I wanted to give it a 2.5. I really did, but there just wasn't enough there for me to boost it up. So sorry, Sly.
I know. And I defended Julius Avery. People saying like, "Oh, the trailer looks like shit," but I'm like, "Yeah, but did you see Overlord?" I said so many of those things over and over again, and I'm with you, buddy. Same here. 2. Not much to talk it up at all. Chris, you on the same page, wavelength here?
I can't believe it. 3 2s.
Yeah.
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 Really,
there you go.
I was
Amazing.
kind of teetering on like, it was half a film. So I was going to say 2.5, but no, it like severely
It's
lacked
actually
in
less than
story. No.
Yeah.
It severely lacked in story. There was some cool moments. It wasn't terrible because I've seen some terrible, but it's a 2.
I felt like the only quote cool moments was just whenever Sly would be able to get off the chain. Other than that, I didn't care. There was no like, oh, but there was that poignant moment, whatever. I think there was one scene, I think I said to Shane or whatever, where it was like, oh, that one scene with the woman who is kind of like the like girlfriend-ish kind of character to Cyrus or what have you, even though they're all family, so I don't know what that makes it. It seems very, I don't know, incestuous, but we'll see. Take that to the side. There's a scene where she's kind of like having a conversation with Sam and kind of being very pointed of like, I was living in a car, Cyrus saved me, we're family here, don't screw up my family. That was at least had a pulse, but I wouldn't call it a good scene. But in a movie like this, that's like the closest things you can latch onto besides him running through walls and punching people.
Right, and that whole scene with the kids hanging out. Do you know what that reminded me of? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, where Shredder had all the kids and they're skateboarding around.
Yeah.
Like,
The Foot Clan?
Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Foot Clan. That's what
Yeah,
that
they're the
reminded
Foot
me
Clan.
of. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing.
You had
So
Bebop
bad.
and Rocksteady beating the kid up outside, and then, he's got to go fight the big boss when he gets in there. Yeah, that makes sense. But it felt that kind of cartoonish city, too, right? We're in, I get whatever the Turtles were in. Is that supposed to be Manhattan? Because they talk about it like that. I forget whether it's traditionally New York City or not. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible 90s kid, I guess. But now that we got that out of the way, we're not talking Turtles anymore because that was a comic book superhero movie, technically. The genre we're talking about here, though, are like the non-comic book superhero movies. And there are some that I will talk up to death. I know Chronicle is like a favorite of mine. There's Unbreakable is probably my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, in which this movie it probably wants to say that it's influenced by Unbreakable, but go fuck yourself if you think you're even close to the vibe just because you had kind of this unknowing, reluctant superhero that's made out of stone. No. We're not playing that game. We're not doing that. But there are some really strong versions of it. But Shane, I'll ask you, like, what is it that makes a movie better than what we just had here? Like, what was the missing ingredient that, like, the ones that we like in this genre have that this just didn't?
Oh, God. It's like you said, I felt like they were going for that Unbreakable vibe. But Jesus Christ, they missed the mark on that. Really, it's just strong writing. Like, one of the movies that I like is James Gunn's Super. So if you're a James Gunn fan, his humor, his writing, the cast, they all are top notch. So as long as he has good writing, that's what makes it for me. Just get me invested in the character. Like David Dunn in Unbreakable. I was invested in that character all the way through the trilogy until they fucked him in that last movie, which I won't even get into how they did that character because it still pisses me off.
Yeah.
But make me care about the character. Give me some strong writing. Give me some dark humor because the Super is a dark comedy, and we'll get into that later on the show. But that is a true definition of a dark comedy because that is a twisted, messed up movie. With Rainn Wilson. Yeah. So that's what this movie was lacking. It just lacked a screenplay. It just lacked character development.
Right.
So give me that, and you got me. Because it is hard to make a movie that's not based on a comic book and you're just starting from scratch. I mean, that's a lot of heavy lifting to get someone to care about that shit.
Yeah, I guess it's just all about like you said, it's all of what you said. I definitely echo what you're saying, but it's just simply a point of view and a proper tone. And this just like was just paint by numbers. So, and even then they were painting outside the lines in a very sloppy way with basic children's watercolors, I think. Chris,
yes.
do you find like a corollary between like what works in this genre and why this one didn't?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to rewrite the movies that I see, but like when I see Samaritan, I'm like, they could have stretched out the fact that like, is this guy this missing superhero? Is he not? But right up front, you're like, oh, that's him. Okay.
Right.
So when is the big reveal?
You don't have
happen?
Sylvester Stallone if you don't. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you get Joe Schmo and be like, oh, he's kind of built. He looks like a superhero kind of guy, but, you know, he looks a little weathered. You know, stuff like that. But I always sing the praises of a movie called Special starring Michael Rappaport. And with that
it's a hard T, isn't it?
What's that?
It is a hard T. Port.
Yeah.
It's not Stephen Colbert. It's Rappaport, right?
Is it? I don't know. Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's from New York, so, you know, whenever.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Rappaport,
yeah. If you want to talk about accent work, we can get on that guy.
Yeah. But anyways, no, like in that, he's actually subdued. He's not really, you know, the Michael Rappaport that we, you know, all know. Loud, brash. He's subdued. He's, you know, taking this experimental drug that may or may not give him superpowers.
Right.
The ability to phase through walls and whatnot. You don't know throughout the whole movie. And it's interesting to follow this character, which he's inherently a sad character. Like, you know, he keeps to himself. His character's name is Les. I mean, how on the nose can that be for someone who kind of keeps to himself, doesn't really interact with others because he's just not. He's introverted. He's ashamed. He's this.
Right.
And throughout the whole movie, you're trying to figure out, is he crazy or does he really have these powers? And I ask anybody who's just sounds interested in that premise to go check it out.
Tell me the tagline for that movie was "Less is more."
Oh my God, it should have been.
It should have been.
Hold
that
on.
was the first thing that came to my mind.
Let me look that up. I
Especially
hope
during that time period. God, yeah. Please help me out there.
Oh,
but you're right. You know what's funny too is at least all these other movies, especially Unbreakable. Unbreakable is just 1-2 hour origin story.
Yeah.
Like the origin story is an animated thing spoken from a boy that we're just getting shoved to us in the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
So I think they took all the fun out of what normally people are into, on top of the fact that it didn't have the greatest dialogue or perspective that a lot of these ones that we seem to like do. And it didn't even have the humor or charm or the attempt of such a version of, say, like even a Hancock, you know, which isn't great, but like, you know, at least it tries and it has Will Smith. You know, if you're going to put like a big star in it, usually that should get you halfway there. But when you're trying with a 76-year-old version of Sly, who I haven't enjoyed one of his films in a long time, you know, diminishing returns. You know, I don't know what you're gonna get. Was that point, Shane, that you were gonna try to take my head off, or am I on thin ice for saying that, or are you agreeing with me?
Telekinetic powers.
Yeah,
that's right. You're on thin ice, buddy.
Yeah. Considering you're the closest one to us actually having a superhero body, I will then back off and I will move on past the point because we got a lot still to talk about. Let's take a break here. And then when we come back, we got 3 of the latest streaming movies to review for you guys. So stick around and come back with us.
Do you like beer?
Do you like podcasts?
Do you like beer podcasts?
Then check out Crackin' One Open, a podcast about brews, news, and pop culture reviews.
Every week, we crack open a new craft beer from breweries around the country.
And sometimes the world.
We'll talk about how it was made, what's in it, the history of the brew, and the brewery.
Then we'll give our tasting notes, and while we're finishing up, we'll talk about some of the latest goings-on in the world of pop culture.
So check out Crackin' One Open with Mike and Elise, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
All right, as many times as we've done episodes recently where the theater movies have let us down, let's deep dive into the streaming movies now. We got 3 reviews for the stuff that has come out quite recently in the last couple weeks here. We have On the Count of 3, Orphan, First Kill, and Me Time from Netflix. So we're all over the map in terms of the streaming services. So we'll tell you which ones to watch on your couch with, nice beverage and hopefully a nice little companion to your side. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to just set up a nice mood for you to enjoy a streaming movie. Maybe not the mood that Gerard Carmichael would have suggested for the dark comedy On the Count of 3, which just hit Hulu as a Hulu original. This movie is a long time coming because this was a Sundance movie, not even this past year, but the year before that. So it's been like a year and a half I've been waiting to see this movie. It is directed by Carmichael, starring Carmichael, and produced by Carmichael. If you're not aware of him, of course, he is a stand-up comedian who had his own sitcom, The Gerard Carmichael Show, for a while, and now is venturing into movies. This is his directorial debut, and it's a darkly comic feature about 2 best friends, Val, played by Carmichael, and Kevin, played by Christopher Abbott, on the last day of their lives. It's a suicide pact movie, guys, so maybe not the best movie to watch with your honey, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. I liked it a lot because we've talked about a lot of these type of movies in the past where it's like, give me something with perspective, give me something that has something to say, give me a big swing and I'll champion every time. Even if it has some flaws to it, I will definitely recommend it above the rest. And I know, Shane, you saw this too. How did you feel about On the Count of 3?
I, believe it or not, I do like movies like this when these movies come along that are just character driven. I like Christopher Abbott. He was on the season 1 of The Sinner. That's the only thing I recognize him from.
Okay.
Now, we talked off air. It's a hard stretch to call this a dark comedy. It's dark.
It is, and it does have some funny moments, but it's not for the faint of heart.
It has some laughs. Right, because when you say dark comedy, I think of movies like Death to Smoochie or The Cable Guy or something of that ilk. I don't. Yeah,
something that's more bent than being like just, oh no, we're dealing with some really heavy stuff. And this one deals with a lot of heavy stuff. Because, like I said, suicide pact.
Yeah, absolutely. Right from the beginning of the movie, you see what's going on. They establish both characters' history, and you feel their friendship in this movie. Like, I enjoyed the ride, even though you know how it's. You think you know how it's going to turn out, but I liked their ride together. I like the supporting cast in here of Henry Winkler has a scene. Yeah, Tiffany Haddish, JB Smoove.
I thought she was really good. Limited, but good.
She was. She was. So I was all in on this movie, and it's a short ride. It's like an hour. What do we say? 20-something minutes.
20, hour 25, maybe.
Yeah, you're like you're in, you're out. But the 2 leads in this movie, Carmichael and Abbott, man, they just. You have to be in the right frame of mind to sit down and watch a movie like this. Like you said, you're not going to sit down with your lady companion or your male companion, or whatever fancies your whatever.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I brought that up.
I know. You have to be in the right mind spot for this movie because it is heavy. Mental health and suicide and just all that plays into this film. But they do it I don't know, man. Like, I gravitated toward this movie. I really dug this movie.
Yeah, they're delicate about the tough subjects enough, but then also you feel for them for all the stuff that they've gone through and what they continue to go through. And I think, especially in the current mental health crisis we are, especially coming out of COVID, between either adolescent and everything else, there's a myriad of things that a lot of people are going through right now. And I don't know if this movie is going to make you feel any better or take you on any kind of soul searching or whatever, but I definitely think that you could do worse for a movie that will make you think about maybe what you would do with limited time on this earth, or what that limited time forces you to think about and really put in to why it's worth living or not, and how these things play out. And I think this movie definitely has a lot in common with maybe like a Safdie's brother movie, like something like A Good Time or something. But also, because again, it's funny because they're not sharpest tools in the shed. But they're, definitely, but it definitely has a lot to say and definitely touches a lot of different subjects. And I would highly recommend it to anyone who has a Hulu subscription or is looking to go that way. Shane, do you have something to say before we hit up?
No,
the
I was
next
going to
one?
ask before we move along. What did you end up scoring this film?
3.75. I could probably be talked to a 4. I'm right in the middle there because you could tell it's a kind of a directorial debut. It's not the most slick or like propulsive film like A Good Time or any of that stuff. But I think I like so much of the content of the film and where it ends up that I would definitely score it higher than most. You?
I agree. I give it a 4. I think it's a solid 4. Like you said, It has its flaws, it has its little hangups, but I liked it a lot. So 4 for me on this movie.
Yeah, I could probably end up getting there, especially because I can't with like a letterbox or something give it a 3.5 or a 4. Like I have to choose. I can't give it a 3.75. So if I had to say, I'd probably, just for the effort alone and a movie that talks about a lot of things that people won't, I would probably just up it because of that, because I like to champion those things. For our next one, Chris, you're taking the bat on this one because we haven't caught it just yet. Yeah. Orphan First Kill, which is on Paramount right now, or I believe it's available PVOD on, like, say, Prime or what have you. This is, of course, what is it? Like
prequel.
15 years in between, something like that?
Yeah.
From the original Orphan, because this is Orphan First Kill, and brings back Isabel Fuhrman, who played Esther in the original film. Also adding Julia Stiles into the fold as Trisha Fulbright on this one. This is after orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. I didn't see the first Orphan, but that plot alone just makes me go, that's pretty good for like a horror thriller. I would totally turn that on regardless of the outcome. And real quick, I told you guys the story yesterday, but I love saying it for the audience. Never saw the first Orphan, but I had the poster in my house because my wife's name is Esther, and the poster right up top says something is wrong with Esther, and I did it just to taunt her. And so I have an affection for this series without seeing a single frame. But like I said, the scores have been good here. A 71 Rotten Tomato score, 76 Rotten Tomato audience, 3.0 Letterboxd, 6.0 on IMDb, and a 53 Metascore. So pretty good for especially a sequel that's been a long time coming. Where are you at, Chris?
Okay, so let me go back to 2009. With the first one, I saw it and I just looked at it as like, a version of The Bad Seed or, something along those lines. There's nothing new that they're going to show me. So I was hesitant on seeing it. And I'll tell you, I think I had to go somewhere with my wife, and we started watching it just because it happened to be on TV. I caught it in the beginning, and we started watching it. We were almost going to be late. It was like, so do we like pause it? Do you think it's still going to be paused before we leave? Like,
sure.
We got into it, and it was a surprise to both of us that it was so well done. It wasn't what it looked like on the surface. It was something completely different, and we enjoyed it. When I heard that they were making a prequel, I'm like, come on. How
is
how
it
are
a
you gonna do
prequel?
this?
It's not a prequel.
It's a
right?
prequel. First Kill.
Oh,
It's a
see, that's
prequel.
weird because they're
Yeah.
using the same person. So how does that work?
So perspective shots, and I think there's a couple of moments where I'm like, that's like a stand-in. That's a body double right there, because that's like a little girl compared to what Ms. Furman looks like, and she's in her 20s or something like that now. I think she's,
I would imagine because she was pretty young for the first one, but those things always go varying degrees. You could be 25 playing a 13-year-old.
Exactly.
So I never know.
And I think she was in one of the Hunger Games movies at one point. So, she grew up. So I'm like, how are they going to do this? And again, it's one of those things where you don't know what to expect, but knowing that what the future comes with this character, you're like, okay, I'm waiting. The first half of the movie there's like nothing going on. It's all set up, like a little too
Right.
long for the setup, and
Sure.
then suddenly it goes. It gets into this aspect of it that you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
Some people compare it to Malignant. You know how it's like that crazy of a movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's up there, but I actually prefer this over Malignant because Malignant just, I don't know
'Cause
what that was trying
She
to
only
do.
has one side of her face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's all inside. It's all the mental crazy person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to use the C word. We don't say
Yes.
crazy now.
I'm sorry.
But
Yes, you're so offensive.
yeah. Hey, mental health.
As I said the word suicide pact a million times, giving no trigger
Yeah.
warning. Yeah.
But it was like, I think the second half of it was pure shock of like,
Yeah.
they're going this direction, and
Right.
it kind of like suck you in. But like the first half, you're like, okay, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it happens,
Yeah.
and you're like, holy crap, what am I watching? And then it all gets tied up nicely into a bow at the end.
Right.
But
I don't love prequels in general, but you know
Same.
what works for prequels? Horror. Weirdly,
Yeah.
because you're rooting for the villains more often than not, so
Yeah.
you don't care if they survive or not. You
Yeah.
know, so if they just go like they accomplish their murder spree and then they're like, "Cool, see you next time," we're like, "Yay!" You know, because we're twisted people, especially here in America. So I'm sure that wouldn't bother me as much as say so many of these prequel series or movies that we've gotten in the last few years because we're just ripping up IP everywhere.
yeah. And
Oh, is there anything that bothered
Right.
you in the whole prequel aspect of it? Like, I know we kind of talked about her look being the same person, but
yeah,
outside of that?
you know, some of that was kind of jarring to look, and I'm just like, okay, that's another person. Okay,
yeah,
that's
because she's
forced
not in a hockey
perspective.
mask, so you have to try to do your best. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you're like, okay, she's playing a 9-year-old and she's in her 20s.
Right.
You know, and you can do that with a kid or, you know, someone
Yeah.
that's closer to age. You can flub a couple years, but like,
Sure.
come on, you know, you're talking 15 to 20 year difference.
Yeah, we were the age level where every high schooler was 30 years old.
Yes.
For every movie and TV series we've ever seen. So
That is true.
we're okay with certain thresholds, but going in reverse gets a little difficult.
Yeah, and then I will say, like, for a good portion of it, I'm trying to remember how it all tied to the first Orphan.
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute, how did she get put in the facility if all this happened in this first one? And
Right.
you know, once you start, you know, pulling the thread, then it turns into, it's like, oh man, that was terrible. But
Right.
like, suspension of disbelief is, you know, check it at the door, because
Right.
it's really, I don't know, it was meant to be fun, and that's what
Yeah.
it was. It was, you know, don't look too deeply into this.
And how's my girl Julia Stiles doing? Because I haven't seen
Lovely.
her in a minute.
Lovely
Yeah.
as always. I always had an affinity for her. I just she's like she's that girl that, like, oh man, she's out of my league, but attainable. You
Yeah,
know?
she's like that brassy girl from your neighborhoods who's too good for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she is, and she plays that well. I mean, she's always been there with, like, you know, her character in Bourne being like quietly like the smartest person in the room or the only person who can kind of wrangle him in. Then
Yeah.
obviously all the teen movies like your 10 Things I Hate About You or Save the Last Dance or something. She definitely follows that up, and then, you know, she's a Mona Lisa smile being in the Smarty Pants
Yep.
classes and everything else. So she's always had that vibe or those characters down pat. So what is she in this?
She is an affluent mom of previously of 2 until,
Right.
you know, Esther comes back into
Yeah.
the fold. And they're from Darien, Connecticut.
Oh,
So I was just like, ooh, Connecticut.
where all the privileged people are. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I'm like looking
I say that,
around,
and I had relatives who live in Darien, so don't.
but that's the
at
thing.
me
Like,
or
I'm
come
looking
through.
around like, that doesn't look like anywhere in Connecticut. I'm sure it's Canada, obviously, but
Yeah,
Like there's
Yeah.
a scene where they go to a train station, and I'm just like, that's not New Haven. That's not
Yeah.
even Darien. That's not the platform for Darien.
Yeah. We're too much on the inside on that one.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever. It serves its purpose, and the other 49 states are like, we don't know what you're talking about. So
Right. Well, I'm glad she's back in the fold, though. But
Yeah.
what would you grade it? I guess.
So I think I said this before. This is one of those movies where on Letterboxd I would give it a 2.5 because, like I said, the first half serves nothing. It's just like
Right.
whatever. But I would heart it. It's
Okay.
one of those things. It's like I didn't hate it at a 2.5. I liked it at a
Right.
2.5.
Interesting.
So-
I'm one of those people like I can't say I even liked it unless I'm at a 3. But hey, man, we all have our grades. We all have our things.
But that's
so
the thing. Like
I'm with you.
a 3 to me says that you liked it. Like you don't even have to put the heart. You liked it. A 3 is a 3. It's more than a Rotten Tomato score.
Right. Yeah. All right. That's fair. I mean, and again, and this movie is getting currently a 3.0 letterbox. So it's interesting that you're like championing it, but you're at less than what people are giving it. So that's the only reason why I'm giving you the business. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to. I would do the double feature. I haven't caught the first Orphan, but it sounds like it would be a well worth venture to do the double tip.
And how would you watch that? How do you think you should watch that?
I hate that fucking conversation.
Right?
I'd watch it in sequential order because I want to have the audience experience. I don't want to do it. I don't follow that shit. I don't care. It's not like, I'm like, oh man, I love Silence of the Lambs, but I'm not going to start there. Fuck off. I'm not doing that. I'm not going back and watching,
Manhunter
either Red Dragon or Manhunter or whatever version of the prequel version. Go to hell. I'm not doing that. I don't care. I'm going straight to the Lambs and then working my way around.
Yeah.
Because you got to establish the best version of the character, or you would hope the best version of the character, and then go from there. Because they made it with that in mind, to get to know this person.
Right.
So that's where I stand.
Good.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you liked it. I definitely want to check those out. Like we said, Orphan is playing for free-ish. You pay a subscription on Paramount Plus, or you can check it out on Prime Video for rental. And then we'll wrap it up with the Netflix version here. We're on Me Time, which, talking about people like Julia Stiles, who I was like, man, good to see them back in the fold. The only reason why, even though I didn't enjoy the trailer for this movie, the only reason why I had a little bit of hope was because of the director of the film, John Hamburg, who for a while there was crushing it with studio comedies. He is the director of Meet the Parents. He was the director and co-writer on Zoolander. He was the writer-director of I Love You, Man. This guy knows how to make a comedy. And, of course, he made the Meet the Parents sequels, and those have various forms of enjoyment. Definitely not as good as the first one, but, I'm sure everyone's watched at least a Meet the Fockers, let alone not the Little Fockers or whatever have you. But those 3 movies, though, excellent choices. And he's even had other ones that have varying levels of success. But those 3 are some of my favorite comedies of the last 20 years in general. So, like, that, it's an impressive list for John Hamburg. So, when I see, and I'm going to say this shaking my head, this movie has a single-digit Rotten Tomatoes score. I haven't seen that in a very long time. I don't know if it fully deserves that much of a beatdown. It's not a good movie. But an 8. Not a 30 where you'd be like, I know this is bad, whatever. An 8. 8. Nobody likes this movie. It has a 23 Metascore, a 5 IMDb, which is remarkable if you look at the rest of it, and a 2.2 Letterboxd. So, wow. The thrashing on Rotten Tomatoes for this movie does not bode well. I don't know if we've talked about Kevin Hart stuff. I guess, like, maybe, I don't know, did we cover Man from Toronto on this
we did.
podcast at all?
We did.
Okay.
Yep. We did.
Because I know you guys weren't a fan of it. You hated that one too. And to be honest, like, I haven't really been on the biggest side of Kevin Hart's comedies over the years. he's probably best with a rock or being like that kind of sidekick thing. In this one, he is Sonny Fisher. He's a dad who finds time for himself for the first time in years while his wife and kids are away. He reconnects with a friend for a wild weekend. That friend is Mark Wahlberg, who plays, wait for it, Huck Dembo. That's a fucking name. Yeah. They couldn't just do anything normal. It has to be Sonny Fisher and Huck Dembo. That's a reach. Couple other good people in this. Andrew Santino, I think, is the only funny thing about this movie. He is in there as Alan Geller, who's like kind of like a PTA parent friend in this. Gosh, I put my thoughts all online. I wrote the review for my play, pause, or stop column on what's on Netflix, so I can kind of like set it aside. But it is not a good movie. It is not even a good version of the conceit that they have, because I don't even think that their friendship is even well established, let alone that they're good for each other, that it's even a good use of his me time. This movie wants to rush so quickly to the dumb spectacles and stunts that they have set up instead of actually making some kind of plausible chemistry, because there is no good chemistry between Hart and Wahlberg for most of the movie. It relies on way too many other things. Chris, I know you actually watched this all the way through. Shane, I know you got the full experience because you fell asleep. That is everybody's experience. We just plowed through it at some point. But Chris, because you did the whole 9 yards, I'll let you go first. What'd you think of Me Time?
Oh my God. I had this one big problem right off the bat, and it wasn't the fact that I saw this trailer and said, what the hell am I getting myself into? But you are establishing that Kevin Hart's character Sonny does everything. He's like the perfect parent. He's
a stay-at-home dad.
Stay-at-home dad.
He's the glue guy.
Yeah, he has everything under tight control. Yeah. And his wife, played by Regina Hall, the lovely Regina Hall.
Yes. Who is, by the way, way too funny to be a nothing in this movie.
Right. And she was. And here she is. I don't care who you are, but all moms have that thing that it's instinct. They know just as much as their partner, if not more. Now, she's a businesswoman.
At least there's a basic level. There's a baseline mom. Even the shitty ones at least know life or death.
Exactly. So with her, she's a go-getter. She's an architect or some type of...
Yeah, like a designer. Some kind of... Sure. Yeah.
So she's all business. She's trying to, make this client happy, / boss, whatever. And she's too busy to know who her kids are and what their needs are, and Kevin is there with like an EpiPen, and she's like, wait a minute, why do you need an extra EpiPen? What parent does that? Like, you should know your kids' allergies at least,
right?
Stuff like that. And I was just like, are you really going to do this to her as a character? And then, as you pointed out, Andrew, like, we're supposed to believe that this is a friendship that is so tight that Huck can talk Sonny into anything, and they can go on this grand adventure. I was just like, come on, get off yourself.
Yeah, if you're going to start with a flashback scene, maybe go younger. Yeah. Go something to where you can make this like an intimate kid thing, establish it over time, maybe a montage of birthdays because it's leading into a birthday celebration.
Yeah.
Something. They do one birthday thing.
Yep.
They're already well into their 30s, what have you, and it's doing stunts and doing stupid stuff, but it didn't teach me a whole lot about their relationship. It was just so quick to getting Kevin Hart to, fly in a wingsuit like he's fucking Batman over a gorge or whatever. Yep. So I didn't care. It didn't get me into the chemistry. Like I said, you're right. It's angering right from jump. Yeah. And it also does the thing, And Shane, I don't know how far you got, buddy. So it's tough for me to like kind of kick it over to you. But the fact that they went and did the everybody's funny thing again, every fucking character, the thing that drives me I've said it a million times on this podcast.
Yep.
Studio comedies these days where it's like everybody has to have a quirk, a laugh line, where nobody could just be a fucking human being, and move, have like real scenes. The one that drove me crazy in this one, the breaking point, was probably the parents of Regina Hall, where it's like they just have to be. I was working on an erotic novel and now I published it. I'm like, stop. We don't need this. We don't need it. Oh, and it's based on your sex life? Of course it is. And get into detail? Sure. Why not? Stop it. Stop fucking doing that.
That's a carryover from Meet the Fockers.
It is. I mean, in a way, yeah.
So yeah, Barbara Streisand, the sex positive guru kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, we've seen it.
I know. But again, why are those movies less successful than even Meet the Parents? Because De Niro plays, at least for him being funny, he's a straight man funny. He's kind of like this evasive thing, and you have a cat peeing in a toilet. It's always fun.
Right.
But, I'll forgive the cat. But, there's plenty of other characters who are like only put into odd situations versus being like they all have some level of quirk. Like his fiance isn't funny. I guess he's very comfortable with making the women, the wives or to be wives, fiancés not funny. Poor John Hamburg. But but this movie just didn't have it. Shane, how far did you get before you fell asleep? Because I envy you that you fell asleep and didn't go back.
Like 15, 20 minutes, I was out.
Oh,
wow. So they didn't even go on their adventure yet. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
you didn't see Naked Mark Wahlberg or whatever?
No. That being said, I'm weirdly still going to watch it, even though it's 8% on Rotten Tomato.
Wow.
And as much as
because now it's a train wreck. Now it's a car crash that you have to go back and see.
I kind of have to see what the hell's going on, right? So
yeah,
I know. But so I am going to eventually watch it this week, and then I don't know. That's where my life is, guys. I told you. It's just where I'm at right now, man.
You son of a bitch. You are not watching it this weekend. You are going to be in Connecticut with us, so you are not watching that thing at all, you motherfucker. You watch that tomorrow. It will not be on. I will, black out Chris's subscriptions. I will do whatever it takes to where you will not watch that movie.
I can black it out myself. Listen.
Yeah.
I don't believe what'd you do? I can't get
I am
in.
the glue, Chris. I am the person. You are the Regina Hall. You're that go-getter who's not home and I'm home blacking out subscription things so Shane doesn't watch and things that are bad choices for him on many levels, not just me time. But yeah, if anything, the only thing I regret about this movie is, besides watching it, is that I didn't put it as a stop. I put it as a pause because to me, I didn't think it was any worse than other shitty Kevin Hart ones. So for me, I was like, if you're a Kevin Hart fan, you're probably fine with this movie.
I think that's
why I
the
was
line that you said in your article.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because it's true.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't like his movies a lot anyway. They're not good. This is damn near right in that same, I'm a fish out of water. I'm just put in weird situation things that he does repeatedly. Man from Toronto, he did it back to back now.
Yeah.
And Night School wasn't that long before that. And he's just always playing that tiny knucklehead, or guy putting himself in bad situations. And I don't know.
I have to
it doesn't
say,
work for me.
I'm not the huge Kevin Hart stand-up fan either.
No, me neither. But I didn't want to get. Yeah.
He had moments, there's certain funny moments, but he built a career off of that and a partnership with The Rock.
He's one of the smartest, nicest guys, from what I hear, and everything else. He is very good in interviews and everything else. I would never want to sandbag him. The man makes his mark. Right. However, I'm just not that into it. So I don't begrudge people who are, and comedy is so fickle because you can have the rabid fans who just get it, and that's why he gets to make more of these. but I'm just not there. And I also don't know what the hell Mark Wahlberg's doing these days. He's just completely off the rails, like doing, this is a hop, skip, and a jump from Spencer Confidential, which didn't work. And, he keeps dialing up. I don't love him in comedies outside of ones that are done by professionals. Like, the other guys is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's it's an awesome movie. And even the people who are fans of Ted or something, knock yourself out, because that is, again, a pro who knows how to do jokey in the right way, has been doing it for decades. I don't know. It works on me. But this one and these type of movies just don't do it for me.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, it also depends. Like, you can't put it all on John Hamburg, only because you have people that are good at improv.
Sure.
I Love You, Man. He's working with Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller knows how to, make awkward things funny. He finds the laughs where other people don't. So that's a good partnership. I don't think Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart have that.
No.
In improv,
it's a bad casting. They have no chemistry.
Right.
They had to have known that early, but they're probably like, well, we have these guys, and it's produced by Kevin Hart, so he's going to pick his guy.
When you have
and Regina Hall, they've been in 7 movies together, so she's going to be there because they like each other.
In improv, it's not a one person, look at me. It's a group effort. And I feel like Kevin Hart is always look at me. You have to reel it back a bit. You have to be sometimes the straight man. You have to let others breathe.
Yeah.
You can't suck out
or
all
trust
the air.
the writing in some shape or form. Be in on that. So that's why it's tough to adapt. Because again, I don't know if this is heavy improv type of movie. I'm sure there's some.
Yeah.
I could kind of tell. And I heard Andrew Santino on Two Bears, One Cave, and he was talking about him being on this movie with him and whatever. And, I guess he's kind of talked about doing some improv or kind of like hamming stuff up or whatever. But I thought he did it pitch perfect. I thought he knew what movie he was in. And I think he was one of the only ones. So, I don't know. And shout out to Seal, who gets to make a cameo in here.
Spoiler alert.
Whatever. It's not. It's really not. It's one of the worst hidden things. Sorry,
Someone's
at least I'm
shouting
ruining it
at us right now.
Yeah. I can't ruin a movie that has an 8 Rotten Tomato score. Can't do it. It's virtually impossible. Should we have been as hard on the streamers as we were on kind of like the theater experience for the summer? Because Netflix didn't have a great summer either. There wasn't a lot of great streaming options. I'm glad that we got at least 2 out of the 3 on this one. That's good. Yeah. Or excuse me, 2 out of 4. Sorry, I forgot to include Samaritan on this. But so, 50-50 prop on that is probably better than what I've been getting for streaming returns lately.
If it wasn't for Hulu and HBO Max this year, it would have been a terrible, terrible streaming year. But I feel like those two in particular kind of lifted some of my watching experience, whether it's through their own original movies or their shows, because we've been on the Hulu tip for a while now.
Oh yeah,
right.
And with On the Count of Three, just solidifies them even further in my mind with the strong shows that they have. So down year for Netflix, Amazon Prime, middling stuff, But for me, it was HBO Max and Hulu that just carried this year so far, or summer.
I'll say down year for Netflix, but again, because they suffer from their own problem of they have far too many things, and so when the ratio is bad, which it has been, that's when you're going to get it. But if I held up Stranger Things, Sandman, Hustle, next to Hulu's, Prey, On the Count of Three, and then whatever they got from the FX partnership, I guess that's at least close, so I guess it's varying degrees, because it's just that Hulu isn't with stuff every single week like Netflix, or multiple things every week like Netflix is. So it's tough. And HBO Max, I'm now scared that David Zaslav's going to cut everything I love. So, and whatever they're doing on the movie side is just borderline confusing. But at least things like Peacemaker and other things that we enjoyed seem to be coming back. Chris, you think we're being too light on them, too hard on them? How's your streaming summer been?
2022 is it's tough. It really is. It's like, we're as we said, we're getting out of the pandemic. We're, things are kind of leveling out. Some people aren't ready to take that plunge back into movie going, movie releases. TV shows are now coming out of being on hold. We're still in a state of flux, but overall, I feel at some point it's going to break. At some point, maybe in the fall/winter of this year, things will pick up. But as of now, it just seems like, like we said in our first half, we struggled to find the things that we liked. Just the things that we liked, that we wanted to watch, that we were interested in.
Yeah.
Now, we've gone through it, we've seen it, and we're like, okay, we saw it.
Yeah.
Nothing was like, oh my God, we saw it. They should make more of that.
And by the way, Disney Plus, I'm letting them off the hook in this conversation when we've been ripping them left and right. And I don't even know what I would like when I rattled off the Netflix things that they did over the summer. I can't hold anything of Disney Plus next to them to be like, well, at least they had this. So, and Paramount, I've covered more positive experiences on here between you bringing up Orphan First Kill. We covered Beavis and Butthead, Jerry and Marge Go Large. Like, at least there's some fun and some good things on Paramount there, but yikes. Disney just killing me. We haven't touched She-Hulk. I know we'll get there, folks. There's a lot of shows going on. I'm watching House of the Dragon. We just wrapped up. By the way, I should have said this for Hulu. Another good season, maybe a lesser season 2 than the first season, but Only Murders in the Building wrapped up, and we all seem to enjoy that. So you can kind of be like champion Hulu with that too. So I did leave that out, but yeah, there's more to come. House of the Dragon's going right now. Lord of the Rings comes out this weekend. So that's a big property for Amazon, who at least they had, obviously if you didn't like Samaritan, at least we were able to talk Terminal List and some other products of theirs. I'm trying to think if they had anything else we covered over the summer.
Reacher.
That wasn't really summer though. Yeah, but it was early. But yeah, they still had a good amount of stuff though. But yeah, definitely TV is going to be heavy in the next little bit here with Andor comes out. I know Chris is out, so I don't know what we're going to cover for it here. Lord of the Rings, I think, you guys are iffy on the fantasy stuff. So, and then House of the Dragon, I know Shane's a Game of Thrones guy, so maybe we'll all bring something about that soon. But I think we want to kind of let those shows establish themselves a little bit before we kind of talk.
Right.
And like we said, Shane, you're coming into town, baby. So I don't even know. We're going to do an actual in-person recording, which will be the first at number 22 next week for episodes. Yeah, that'll be wild. And yeah, who knows? Maybe that's when we start our fall preview. I don't know what we got cooking. So definitely a lot of things going on right now. Are you guys looking forward to anything specific? Like if you had to pick one thing in the next few weeks here?
Surprisingly for me, it is Lord of the Rings. Like that trailer, again, I'm not in the fantasy, but that trailer just nailed it for me. And so that one's got me all in on that one.
Okay. Chris, anything?
I'm a little further ahead. I not anything that's coming out in the next few weeks, but I will say Wakanda Forever, I'm more curious.
Yeah, we got a while for that one, sure.
That's the most secretive of the MCU in quite some time now. So I'm curious, and hopefully it's done well.
Yeah. And, humble brag completely that I've already seen Cobra Kai season 5. I can't wait for you guys to watch it so we can all discuss that. I know that's coming out in a couple weeks. But to me, Barbarian. I've seen so many good reviews I think early now it has like an 8 point something on IMDb. Now, granted, that's insane, but they probably stacked the deck showing that movie to like all, horror fans and whatever, and just let it try to build up. But even then, it could be a piece of shit and they'll rip it too. So the fact that it has such early good returns, and I've seen it from like top critics, good returns, I can't wait to see it because there's very little known to it. The trailer did a nice, keep the ball away kind of secretive thing with that. So I'm in. And that comes out, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So totally in on that. So maybe we'll do a nice horror episode coming soon because there's a bunch of those coming through between Barbarian. You got Pearl, the X prequel coming soon. And The Invitation just came out this weekend. Or this past weekend. So a lot of good stuff. Smile, all that. So maybe we'll touch on some horror before we get into the October season 2, which has a lot of stuff with the Midnight Club and everything else. Halloween Ends. So a lot to look forward to coming to the fall. Looking forward to Shane coming to town, and we get to have some fun in person. And I guess we'll see you guys next week on Recent Activity.